The aircraft going over here is just becoming, well, it's almost intolerable. Like right
I know
now,
these guys need to fly, I know they need to practice, but maybe they could, like, fly over one area for a couple hours a day and then maybe another area for an hour and, like, kind of space it out because
our children need to get to sleep here. While these airplanes flying over Great Neck, you're affecting 15 school districts. Just want to let you know.
Got to deal closer with the community. You're not doing it. You know, it's like, you know, the military comes first, and I'm sorry, but the noise is not the price of freedom. Okay.
The U.S. military plays a significant role in defending the United States and its interests around the globe. At the forefront of this endeavor are the aviation assets of the U.S. military. Whether based on aircraft carriers and amphibious ships patrolling the seas, forward deployed at overseas bases, or through the global reach of U.S.-based strategic forces, aviators of all services provide a quick response to world events. The military's success in these endeavors has been achieved because it holds a distinct advantage in training and advanced technologies that allows our military to function more efficiently and effectively. This success relies on training that is realistic, including the testing of new technologies, the full use of weaponry, live ordnance, and training at night. Historically, military installations have been located in rural areas. Over time, however, these installations have become magnets for business and residential development because of the economic and employment opportunities that these installations offer. When development pressures come in conflict with the operational requirements of nearby military airfields, the result is incompatible development or encroachment. This has the potential to expose nearby communities to increased noise levels and safety risks. As community concerns over military operations increase, the affected parties will soon seek relief through the imposition of reduced takeoff weights, quiet hours, flight track changes, reductions in operations, and even loss of flying mission. In 1973, the Department of Defense created a tool to aid communities and military airfields to promote development compatible with air operations. This tool is known as the Air Installations Compatible Use Zones Program, or AICUZ. The goal of the AICUZ program is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of those living and working on or near military installations, while ensuring the continued flight operations. This is achieved by educating the public and local governments on the AICUZ program, encouraging the community to develop land uses compatible with aircraft operations, seeking ways to minimize the impacts of aircraft noise and accident potential while not impacting operational needs, and ensuring that potential home buyers are aware of the impacts of living near a military airport. At the core of the AICUZ program are recommendations for land uses in areas exposed to various levels of noise and accident potential. The initial step in the AICUZ process is preparation of a study to define noise contours. The noise contours are developed by a computerized analysis of aircraft activity at the installation and reflect site-specific aircraft operational data. For land use planning purposes, the noise exposure area is divided into 3 noise zones. Noise Zone 3 is an area of high noise exposure, where the greatest degree of land use control is recommended. Residential development is strongly discouraged in this zone. Noise Zone 2 is an area of moderate noise exposure, where some land use control is recommended. Residential development is discouraged in this zone. Noise Zone 1 is an area of low noise impact, where most land uses are compatible. Residential developments are generally considered compatible in this zone. Land use recommendations are applied to keep noise-sensitive uses such as residences, auditoriums, and schools outside of high and moderate noise zones. While noise concerns are considered a high priority, the safety of the surrounding community is one of the primary purposes for the AICUZ program. The Department of Defense uses accident potential zones, or APZs, to show areas where an accident is most likely to occur, if one occurs. APZs are located below aircraft flight tracks near the ends of runways. There are 3 accident potential zones: the clear zone, APZ-1, and APZ-2. Clear zones are the area with the greatest potential for occurrence of aircraft accidents and should remain undeveloped. While the possibilities of an aircraft mishap are remote, the AICUZ program recommends that land uses that promote high concentrations of people be avoided in the accident potential zones.
The Air Force is very focused on safety. We do everything possible to prevent accidents. However, occasionally things do happen. In April of this year, we had a C-5 that landed short of our runway. Thankfully, to the strong AICUZ planning, we had previously purchased the land off the end of our runway. In this case, it saved lives. Additionally, there was no significant damage to the property as a result of that accident.
Noise contours and accident potential zones, along with land use recommendations to achieve compatible development, are incorporated into the AICUZ studies for all Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps air installations. The AICUZ study must then be presented to the community to assist local governments in developing land use plans that are compatible with airfield operations. AICUZ is non-binding. It is a recommendation to the surrounding communities. Land use controls, building codes, and real estate disclosure are the responsibility of local government. As landowners, the military can participate in the land use planning process, representing the public's investment in the military airfield. Not only can installation commanders be involved in the process, they should be. In 2004, Philip Groney, Principal Assistant Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, stated that, "As we continue to address the impact of encroachment on military readiness, it is imperative that we effectively use all tools and resources available to us. In this regard, I recommend that you direct more active involvement at the installation and regional environmental coordinator level in all aspects of state and local planning that could impact readiness."
We have to continue to support each and every installation. As we look at the constellation of ranges and bases that we have, we can ill afford to lose anything right now. We're not going to be able to create new bases. There's limited real estate left in the United States, and we have to take care of what we are currently operating out of today, more so than ever before. As we look to the future, the overall threat to the United States really is unknown. We're not sure where we'll be going next, and we've got to maintain that capability to do our training so that we're ready when the nation needs us most.
It's up to the installation commander to find a way into the land use planning process and convince the community of the value of compatible development.
Incompatible development near any installation can have a very bad effect on the mission, and so we have to work very closely with local, state, and federal agencies to ensure that development proposals are examined in terms of our national defense and national security mission. So what we do is we work very closely with a myriad of agencies and organizations to ensure that every proposal is viewed in the terms of the national security mission. As we look at those proposals, we try to offer alternatives to mitigate any possible negative effects. And the most important thing to consider is that you have to have a good communications, and you have to be able to articulate why you train in the manner that you do.
AICUZ implementation is a team approach. While the installation commander heads the AICUZ encroachment team, air operations, public affairs, legal, and planning all have a role. Many installations have dedicated staff to work directly on encroachment issues. No service better represents this approach than the Marines with their Community Plans and Liaison, or CP&L program. The CP&L office supports a Marine Corps installation's ability to provide high-quality training environments for the operating forces by implementing sustainable strategies through effective community outreach and education, and by recommending and executing compatible land use strategies. The CP&L officer serves as the installation point on encroachment issues, working with community planners and representing the Air Station Commanding Officer when necessary on land use issues.
Our Community Plans and Liaison Office is absolutely essential to our AICUZ program and to our encroachment planning. We hire people who are quite often former military or professionals working with the community. They're known in the community, and probably the most important thing, of course, with a Community Plans and Liaison is that most of these issues are long-term, and what they represent for us is corporate memory. Most of us are ephemeral in our assignments to these bases, but the Community Plans and Liaison personnel are known to the community, trusted by the community, and they certainly are a value added and a force multiplier in everything that we try to do.
Many Navy air stations also have dedicated staff, and both services have established CP&L staff to work on a regional level. AICUZ implementation requires boots on the ground. Installation commanders and their AICUZ encroachment teams must become a presence in the community, educating local planners, developers, real estate professionals, elected officials, and the public not only on the installation's defense mission, but also the AICUZ program and the need to develop cooperatively and compatibly.
Community relations is certainly a key to this whole process. It's important for installations not to wait for the community to come to them, but to actually go out and make sure that you develop those relationships with the community so that we have a two-way dialogue of development, land use, anticipated growth, and needs for the community.
What we have to have is a balance between the community concerns and our mission requirements. My primary mission is to ensure that all elements, all units in the operating force are able to train as they fight. But at the same time, an open dialogue and a sensitivity to the community's needs will go a long way towards ensuring that you have that ability to train at the times that you need to train. And if you have to ratchet something up, a couple phone calls to local mayors goes a long way.
Potential land use issues that are discovered early in the planning process have a better chance of being resolved before the developers and land use authorities have invested significant time and money.
It's essential to work land use issues right away before developers put more money towards it, so that they use that as a justification that they've spent millions of dollars, and therefore, despite the fact it may interrupt your operations, we've spent the money and therefore we need to continue on with our development.
Installation commanders and their AICUZ encroachment teams must also show persistence.
It's got to be a team effort. It's got to be you, the EXO, your community liaison folks, whoever it is, continuing the same mantra of encroachment, preventing that, and getting the message out to every level of city, state, and federal government.
Often, land use issues take time to evolve and even longer to resolve. In the 2005 round of the base realignment and closure, the BRAC Commission raised concerns for the long-term viability of Naval Air Station Oceana as a master jet station. Located in southeastern Virginia, NAS Oceana is home to the Navy's East Coast Strike Fighter aircraft, FA-18 Hornets and Super Hornets. Established during the Second World War, Oceana's remoteness and coastal location made for an ideal naval aviation facility. Over the years, however, the coastal resort community of Virginia Beach became a magnet for development. Today, over 100,000 persons live within the noise zone surrounding the air station.
It was critical for not only the Navy, but the city, probably more importantly, the city and the Commonwealth, to get on the same page and figure out how they could work within the guidelines of the Navy to give us what we needed and therefore satisfy BRAC.
With BRAC as a catalyst, the air station and community worked together, establishing guidelines for growth and redevelopment. With help of regional and state government, Oceana and its neighbors have shown that encroachment can not only be slowed, but stopped, and through redevelopment, reversed. The air installation must also seek to be a good neighbor. Local flying course rules should, when possible, be designed to limit community impact, and construction of engine test cells and hush houses should be pursued to reduce the impacts of ground engine run-ups. By the installation implementing these mitigation measures, they'll further open the door to creating a more cooperative working environment with the local municipalities. AICUZ implementation involves a hands-on approach by installation commanders and staff.
Well, you know, I think any program here at the base is going to require the commander to be actively engaged and involved. And so from a leadership and guidance perspective, you know, I think the CO has got to know his AICUZ program. He's got people who can work it for him, but he has to be the one that shows the community and his people that it's a top priority. And when he does that, that program tends to really take off, and I think the community is there to support it as well.
The installation must become an active part of the community. Identify possible land use and air operations conflicts, and work with its neighbors to promote compatible development.
The value of the AICUZ program, I think we see it every day. You know, you drive in and out our gates and you take a look at how the community has grown, but you look at the area around the base and you can see that we're postured to complete our mission and to do it in an environment that I think has a very minimal impact on our community and our partners in the community. AICUZ has allowed us to do that.
AICUZ is leadership-driven. The participation and direction of the installation commander and senior military leadership is required to achieve long-term mission sustainability.
The leadership has to be involved with encroachment. This is not something that can be delegated to subordinates. Obviously, they're there to help you as professionals, but as the commander, you must be involved.
Leadership is also required to form the military-community partnership.
Your relationship with the community is like a marriage. You have to work at it every single day. Good marriages start with good dialogue. Good relations with the community start with dialogue.
Properly implemented, AICUZ is also an important tool in reducing community concerns over noise and safety. By working together, the military and the community will help to preserve the defense mission while improving the quality of life for those who live outside the fence.